Let's welcome Laura Quirke today. Laura is a transformational healer coach. She is blessed with a gift of channeling exceptionally high vibrational energy, which facilitates miraculous healing and profound changes on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. In addition to this energy, Laura uses a healing technique that she created called Sacred Heart Healing, which has proven to be the fastest and most effective technique delivering miraculous results. She specializes in helping people naturally heal physical and emotional pain, chronic disease, such as cancer, sports injuries, improve athletic performance, menopause symptoms, and so much more. I have a few of those. Laura also recently received the extraordinary 5th Dimension Upgrade Plan, which grants her the ability to upgrade others to 5D consciousness. That sounds good to me. Do you as well? I love it. And so today, together with Laura, we will learn to experience profound healing as we learn how to ascend to the 5th dimension consciousness effortlessly. And with that, welcome, Laura.
Thank you for joining me here. I've been a transformational healer and coach for a long time, and is constantly evolving. My name is Laura Quirke. The company name is Light Connectors. I'm helping people connect to their own light. I have the gift of being able to channel this extremely high vibrational energy, 12th dimension and above. And so when I'm working with a client, they oftentimes receive instant results. Even people with cancer, even after a single session, they've been healed. Not all the time, sometimes we need to do a series of sessions, but it's really rewarding, and I love doing it and love helping people. It's just my passion. So just going to talk a little bit, I'm going to put an outline here, I'm going to go over, but I'm going to talk about my gift, the healing process that I used and created, give you a little bit of explanation on that. I'm going to talk about some of the results that my clients have experienced. It's a whole range of things, and a little bit about my journey into healing and how that evolved and it continues to evolve. And the most recent thing is this upgrade. So I'm calling it 5DUB, which is the 5th dimensional upgrade blueprint. And it just happened recently, and it's super exciting because I've been told by many psychics that this was gonna happen at some time, and the time is right. You'll be downloaded and you'll know what it is and you'll know how to use it. I'm like, so this just happened in June. I'm like, oh no, I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm like, yes, you have to get out there and talk about it. So here I'm going to be talking about that and what that means and how easy it is to go from 3D to 5D. So I'm going to save that towards the end. And then if we have time, I'll do a group healing if anybody wants to participate. And then if we have time there, I'll ask for a volunteer, somebody that has like a pain of some kind, physical pain, so they can easily tell if it's healed. Maybe level 5 to 10, 5 to 10, and then I'll demonstrate how easy and painless that can be. So anyway, just to start out, the gift that I have is of course channeling this really high vibration energy. So I see myself as a conduit to that energy, and so when I'm working on somebody, I'm just bringing that energy down into them, and then of course they need to choose to allow it to happen or not, because it's all free will. But then I use the tools of that technique to direct the energy. And so, you know, I'm healing like emotional things and traumas and past life stuff and all this kind of stuff. And then I do a physical healing. So I'll describe all that process in more detail. The other gift I have is when I hold space for people, people see crystal clear. So people that are visual see even clearer. People will hear messages. It's really funny because I don't get that gift myself. I'm very intuitive, but I've been told that I came in to be the channel and didn't want anything to slow that down. So it's just this flood of energy that comes through. And so they said if I was able to see and interpret, I'd be distracted and it wouldn't come through as nice. So it's a little frustrating because I would like to see these people see such cool stuff. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what it means. I have the knowingness, but I just don't have the ability to. So anyway, even people that are healers and psychics themselves, you know, they may have seen things more fuzzy, it's just clearer for them than people they've never seen before or heard before. Suddenly they're getting that information. So also I can hold space for people and bring in loved ones who have passed, and then they're having direct communication with them. I'm just holding the space. But because of the energy, it helps them to be able to communicate and direct themselves. And it's very powerful. Even just doing that is extremely healing for people, especially when they've lost really close loved ones. So anyway, so the process that I use is, well, actually, I used to do everything in person. And now I realize that it's just as effective to do it on the phone or through Zoom, and I can reach so many more people. So I work with people all over the world, people in Australia and England, all over the place, wherever they need it, and it's much easier to schedule it that way. So, so that's what I've been doing, especially since COVID, because I really, and then I've been doing large groups of people. So it's like not just individuals now. I do things in a generic enough way on many things that I can address many issues at the same time. And so that's been really fun. So it's always growing, always evolving, and always coming up with new ideas and experimenting, and they go, if that works, let me try this, and then what happens here, and so it's just, it's kind of evolved. So anyway, when somebody comes in with a physical healing, if you just heal the physical issue, and you don't heal all the things underneath it that contributed to it in the first place, it'll just come back in the same form or another form. So it's really important to heal what I call elements, and those elements are your thoughts and beliefs and traumas and fears and emotions and experiences and patterns and blocks from this lifetime, other lifetimes have passed down from generation to generation. So all those things are contributing to the cancer, contributing to the injury, contributing to whatever it is that, the emotional issue that you got, because your higher self wants those things to be healed. And so sometimes they have to bring in an injury or pain for you to be motivated to seek out help. And then we heal all the stuff underneath it, which is really what they want to heal. And then it's easy to do the physical healing. So I help people, I used to just do the work for them and heal it. And I didn't want people to think that they had to depend on me. I wanted to teach them that they have the ability to do this, and the more they work on it, the more they can do it themselves. And so during the session, I teach them how to go into their heart, expand out their consciousness, connect to heaven and earth, and that opens up their intuition, and bring in the energy, and then we're bringing things into consciousness that weren't conscious before, that are contributing to the issue. So we're bringing in all these things, and I'm having them witness as these things come in. And once we have it in consciousness, I help them transform it. So transforming it, I call it in the highest and best way across all time, dimension, space, and reality. So if it's a belief that I'm not good enough, you're transforming it to what would be the better belief. So I'm not defining what that is. If it's a fear, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, fear of change. We all have so many fears, and it pretty much runs our life. And so basically your thoughts create your beliefs create your reality. When you have an emotion behind it, it actually brings it into your life really quickly. So fear is a strong emotion of what you don't want, but you're actually bringing it into your life. And so when you heal these fears that you maybe weren't even aware of, maybe you are aware of them, everything in your life changes. So it's not just the physical healing that you came in for. But another really cool thing is when I'm working on an individual, because I transform it from the origin, whoever else also experienced that issue, maybe in another lifetime or a family member, the energy and the healing is offered up to the other people too, and it's up to their higher selves to accept it or not. It's all free will, so we can't force anything, but we offer it to them. So oftentimes family members are experiencing healing after somebody comes for a healing session. So it's really fun and powerful stuff. I often talk about vibrations, and I think most people know how that works. But during a healing session, we're raising your vibration, because all these lower vibrations, shame and guilt and anger and resentment and bitterness and grudges and all these things that we have that maybe we're not even conscious of, is keeping our energy low and our vibration low. And so as we heal those things and transform them, your vibration gets higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And so then everything changes in your life, because everything is vibrational energy, right? Every object, every person. So for people, it's a combination of your thoughts and beliefs and traumas and fears and experiences and all that kind of stuff. You're sending out this energy. And some people are more in tune to it, but most people are, whether aware of it or not, can sense it, right? And so you actually draw people into your life that match your vibration. So if you don't like the experiences and the people that are in your life right now, you might want to do some healing. So it all comes back to healing yourself, because also all the people around you are mirrors of what's going on inside. So, you know, if people are mean to you or saying mean things to you, it's really you have that belief about yourself. And when you change that within yourself, the outside world behaves differently too. So, so during a session, even if we don't focus on just raising your vibration, it automatically happens. And it gets higher and higher, and then everything changes. It's like, wow, I went for this healing session, and like everything's different in my life now. Like, you know, people are nicer to me, I've created more abundance, I've done all these things, so it's just super fun. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a couple of stories that have happened over the years. Let's see, one of them, I just worked with a woman with type 1 diabetes, which is not supposed to be curable. She's in her 50s, so she had her entire life, and she had neuropathy and all kinds of stuff going on. Her blood sugar levels were never in sync. They were always way out of balance. So she was constantly having to monitor it. And she claimed that she was one of like 1,000 people that lived as long as she did with her, this issue. So I just did a healing session with her, and the neuropathy was completely gone, never came back again. And she was able to reduce her insulin level by 1/3, and then it was completely stable. Her doctor's like, what did you do? It's like, we've never seen it so stable. And so I've continued to do more work, and then it's been dropping more and more and more. So that's really exciting and fun. So it really doesn't matter what it is. Like, there are no limits. That, like, you know, people are like, well, that's not curable, it's not possible. The doctors say it's not possible. Well, if you believe that to be true, and you allow that to be true, it is true for you. Because whatever you believe to be true is true for you, right? And so you probably want to just say, well, I'm open to whatever's possible, and, you know, just not that you're going to believe things that it's not possible to believe, but just be open to the possibility that things could be different than what you had imagined before. So I did lots of healing on people with cancer. One guy had prostate cancer and stage 4. His wife found me, this many years ago, found me and asked me to do a session with him. And he was never really into healing stuff, but he was pretty desperate at the time because the doctor said you need to do radiation and chemo, and if you don't, you will die. And so he comes in for a session, and I worked on him and cleared all this stuff. He's like, oh my God, I feel so different. And he said, I'm not gonna go through the treatment. I'm like, no, you have to go through the treatment. I don't want that responsibility, and you need to do it. And so he went back to his doctor and said he didn't want to do the treatment. The doctor said, you're not, you don't do it. And he says, test me again, and the cancer was gone. So that's the kind of crazy stuff that happens. It doesn't always happen in one session, but those are the kinds of things. I had another woman with breast cancer, and I did one session with her, and during the session, you know, other stuff comes up. I mean, she had a drug problem, she lost custody of her kid because of some of her issues, and so I worked on all that stuff. And then I didn't hear from her again, and I ran into her 10 years later, and she introduced me to her boyfriend and said, this is the woman who saved my life. Like, my entire life changed. Like, the cancer was gone, I got my kid back, I don't do drugs anymore. I mean, she just like, oh my gosh, you know? So sometimes I don't even know, like, what happens. But it's just such a blessing when I hear the results like that. So I love to hear what happens with people. Let's say I had another one more recently. He had scheduled a heart procedure. He was having all kinds of problems, and he had previously had a heart attack years ago. And I think they had to go in and put a stent in, so he scheduled the surgery for a week later. I did a session with him, and he went back for the surgery, and they opened up and like, we can't find the problem. So they didn't do the surgery. So just crazy stuff like that happens. A lot of emotional healing, you know, just stuff like people just feel stuck or depressed, or you know, just they keep coming up with triggers, like, you know, something will happen in life and they get triggered from it. So we heal the stuff that's triggering them. Let's see some other examples. So I work with a lot of athletes. I'm an athlete myself. I've been a runner for many years. I ran for like 40 years and competed in college and and stuff, and I just recently started cycling. So it's really fun for me to work with athletes. And my kids are all athletes. One of them, my kids. So I worked with one kid. He was in college and he was on the track team, and he just wasn't running well in the season. Just struggling to be in 8th place, and his mom asked me to do a session with him, and he had some injuries, and so I healed the injuries and worked on his confidence and his fear of success and fear of failure and all that stuff around it. And the next week was a championship meet. Came in first for his team and second in the entire event. I mean, it was just unbelievable, the change. But it was just because those things were holding him back, you know? And so once you heal those things, then his natural ability was able to shine, right? So it's not like I can take somebody that's never run before and make them a champion. But if you heal those blocks that are preventing them from performing, then you can help them. So I hope when I'm working with somebody, you know, I kind of look at the energetic stuff. Like a lot of times we have entities or beings connected to us or associated with us that are holding us back, and they're like living through you as in the human experience, and people aren't even aware that they're there. Sometimes it's been a short time that they've been with you. Sometimes it's been lifetimes, and you always at some point gave them permission to be there. And sometimes you'll say, this thing happened, if you fix this, you can stay with me forever. You make some stupid promise, and then I hope you break those promises, and then get rid of them when I send them to God's light. But even that, I mean, sometimes it's usually just really easy and they go. And other times, like the body's shaking as it's coming out, and they're feeling it like come out, and it's pretty dramatic. But usually it's pretty simple. And then sometimes we have energetic cords attached to ourselves, to other people, even other people on the other side. And it's never, even if you're in a relationship with somebody, you don't want to be corded to them, because then you're feeling all of their stuff. You know, you want to have two healthy people supporting one another, but not corded together. And so often as we have hundreds of cords attached to us, and so we don't even know why we feel bad sometimes. We're feeling their stuff, right? So I help you heal whatever caused you guys to put the cord there in the first place, because each person had to agree to put it there. So we heal what that is, and then release the cords. Sometimes people have viruses and unhealthy bacteria in them, and so I bring in frequencies to get rid of that. And sometimes there's toxins and heavy metals, and we're able to energetically remove that. And I've even had people go back and get tested. Like one, it was a young boy actually, he had mercury, and it was affecting him. And I did my normal stuff, and the mom went back to the doctor, and it was gone. So it's amazing, like what can happen. I keep coming up with new techniques, like, you know, stem cell was a big thing, and so I had them imagine their own embryo in front of them, and then bringing the stem cells into the body part that needed healing. Actually, the first person I did was my son, and he had a shoulder injury, so we brought the stem cells into the shoulder injury, and then watched the healing take place. And it fixed it. So it's just, you know, it's just really fun to experiment and just keep growing. And you know, when I first started, I would work on unforgiveness, right? And that would take hours to do. And then I'm like, oh, this is just such a long process. It's gonna take forever. So there's gotta be a faster way. So then I created a way like, okay, I'm gonna have a bucket. We're gonna put all these things, all the unforgiveness in there, and then clear it all there. That worked, but it's still slow. Now I just bring in consciousness and shift it. Boom, it's done. So it's that quick. So anyway, so that's a little bit of some of the results that I've seen. So my journey, I'm just gonna give you a brief overview of it. I kind of discovered this gift when I was very young. My dad passed away when I was 8 in a car accident, and I really wanted to connect with him. And I'm not psychic, but I had young friends of mine, 8-year-olds, that were, and so we would, when I hold the energy for them, they were able to communicate and give me the messages of what he was saying. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, we'd ask him questions and he'd come back with answers that made sense. And I told my mom, she's like, oh no, that's not possible. And I'm like, oh no, I have this energy coming out of my hand, and I'm like, you know, and there was no information on it, no books on it, and only books on ESP, but there was no information on healing. And so I really didn't know what to do with it. But I started playing with it on myself. Started getting into running. I ended up running 22 marathons. I won the Boston Marathon for my age group when I was 19. I competed in college all 4 years, and you know, all that. but I would just run the energy. I would just connect to this energy, and I have infinite energy, infinite abundance of energy. I can do whatever I want with it, right? And it worked. I would like imagine the race that I was running, imagine how I wanted to feel, where I wanted to be, and who I wanted to be near, and it would happen. It was like, so it was just fun, you know, and then I would teach my teammates how to do it. And then I was in engineering, which is totally right brain, left brain, and all this stuff is right brain, so it's very different, but I'm very methodical, and even in my healing techniques, I just kind of have this process, so I'm kind of using a combination of both those things. But working in high tech, I was the technical lead for the first Palm Pilot. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but way back when it was the first, small computer before we had phones, and that was really fun. And then I got into management, so I was VP of engineering, and I didn't talk about this stuff. So the people who were working with me, they think I was totally crazy. So, but people would come into my office with whatever their problem was, and so as they're speaking, I'm just running the energy and just watching them shift, and I kind of forgot like what they were upset about or what was going on. It was like they just walk out. I don't know why I feel better, but it's just really funny. And then I started doing it in meetings, and I was working for a lot of startup companies, and so there was stress on schedules, and people were blaming each other for being late. And so I just started at that time I was channeling through my hands. I had my hands under the table, and I'm going like this. But then watch the whole room calm down, and then people getting along better and figuring out solutions. And so all this was just kind of playing, not really knowing, what to do with these gifts. And then I decided to leave high tech after being in it for 20 years. I had 3 young kids at the time, and I had a nanny raising my kids, and I just decided I wanted to be more involved in their lives. And so I quit, and I got my real estate license and mortgage broker's license. And started doing that, but then I also was taking healing classes. At that time, there's a lot more offered, and just to seeing what other people are doing at that point. And I was like, okay, these methods are effective, getting results, but they're just slow, right? It just takes a long time. You have to keep coming back over and over and over again. And so then I just started experimenting, like, okay, well, let me see, what I could do to speed this process up. And so it evolved from there. And so, my friends were all my guinea pigs, and anybody who would let me work on them, let me try this and see what happens. And so it was really fun, and I just started getting miraculous results. And people, it's chronic migraine headaches, I just put my hands there, and all of a sudden it was gone, never came back. I was like, wow, So, and then all the tools started coming in, and so I started using those, and that's what I do now. And so, most of the healing sessions I do are 50 minutes long, and I do it on the phone or on Zoom. And then sometimes I'll speak on stage, and I'll do healings and the whole audience. So the most recent thing, which is really exciting, but I wasn't really prepared to talk about today, but Spirit was like, yes, you're going to talk about this today. So here I am. And my daughter helped me discover this too. So I've been told for many years that there was something really important that I was supposed to be doing to help humanity, and that I would be on stage and transmitting this to the audience, not even saying anything. I'm like standing there not saying anything. That's kind of weird, But I'm like, okay, I'm open to what the universe wants me to do. But I've been told by many different psychics this stuff is going to happen. So, and then I was told too that this is something that I was going to be transmitting, but then eventually I was going to be helping other healers to be able to do what I do, and that would be downloaded and told to me when the time has come. So in the meantime, June 4th, I had a head concussion. So I started cycling just this year, and I was sort of racing this year. So I started cycling during COVID, and I'm actually doing pretty well. So I came in second in the state championship on June 2nd. And so I was really happy because the first place person was the national champion, so I knew I wasn't gonna meet her. But on the way back after the race, it was a warm down, and so I waited for the girl behind me, and so I'm warming down with her. And I went over a railroad track, and I don't know what happened, but I went down, and my helmet was cracked, and all these dings all over, and some injuries here, and different things. But I got back on my bike. I'm like, okay, I'm okay. And rode back to the where the cars were, and all of a sudden I was completely out of it. Like, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what year it was. I didn't know who the president was. I didn't know anything, and I was like, I was so scared. And so but then most of the memories started coming back after like an hour. And so then I came home, went to the hospital, and got checked out. I was good. But I came home and I'm just resting because I just wanted to make sure that everything was healed up before I do any kind of intense exercise. And so I just like laying there, just working on myself. And then one of my friends who's a psychic said, you don't realize like how important this event. It was all part of the plan, but they needed to knock you out to download this blueprint. Yeah, basically had to just disconnect me so that they could upgrade my brain, my body, and everything to have this upgrade imprint or blueprint that then I could transmit to other people. And it's going to bring them from the third dimensional energy that most people are in into fifth dimensional energy. And so I don't know if you guys are familiar with what's going on, but the earth is shifting and all of humanity is shifting too. And it's a slow process. I think it started in 2012 and it's going like through 2050. But people talk about the ascension symptoms and how hard it is, and and apparently this gift allows people to jump from the 3D to 5D. And so they said the earth has shifted enough now where humanity needs to start shifting faster. And so that's part of where I come in, is to help with that process with this gift. And so I'm like, okay, if I have to speak about it, I gotta like work on as many people as I can to see what happens. And so I've been working on different people, and it's pretty incredible. I mean, people have like were depressed and kind of just didn't know what they were doing in life. I received the upgrade and they're just like all energized and just, so basically the 3D energy is like a dense energy, right? It's just where we were living for most of humanity. It's hard. It's just there's a lot of chaos and there's a lot of anger and there's wars and there's jealousy. There's all this lower vibrational energy. Fifth dimensional energy is more heaven on earth. And so going through this shift is a difficult process because there's the old energy and the new energy, and it's trying to bring us all into this new energy. And so it's working and it's happening, but it's just kind of a long drawn out process. So anyway, I was told that the time is now. So this is where my daughter came in. She's always been very intuitive, but she was working on some of her own issues, and she asked me to help her with them. And I'm like, okay, let's just work every day and really just get you to a good place. So we started doing that, and her intuition has just exploded. Like, it's crazy. Like, she's just become really psychic. And so now she has clear communication with her guides. And actually during the sessions, they're kind of like, guiding us through, saying, look, you have to work on this too. You gotta do this is missing. And so then she's been told some of her gifts that are coming online about being able to download these codes, and then she'll be able to interpret the codes and draw the codes so that other people can benefit from it too. But all this is evolving. And so we were working for a couple of weeks on it. It was really fun to do. And then I said, can I ask a few questions to my guides? So, as I said, I don't have the gift of talking directly to my guides or hearing. I mean, I talk to them, but I don't hear their voice and I don't see, right? And so it's a little frustrating for me. So I'm like, can you ask them a few questions for me? And she's like, I thought you'd never ask, They've been waiting for you to ask. I'm like, well, this was all about you and I wanted to help you. And so anyway, apparently one of my guides, Miri, came in and said she's been with me for an eternity, and she says, the time to go is now. And she kept saying that over again. I'm like, where are we going? What are you doing? And so then she started explaining about this thing that was happening, and the whole process with the concussion and why it had to happen that way, and how it was going to help so many people. And they really wanted me to encourage me to start sharing it. And I'm like, I have to feel confident in person. And she's like, just go, just do it. I'm like, well, I don't know how to do it. Yes, you do, just do it. so anyway, through Jessica, she was communicating with them, and she said she was quite funny. She was like, had this energy of the queen, and she was just like talking very proper, and so it's really fun to see her being able to do that kind of communication. So it was just confirmation from yet another person about all this stuff that's happening. So anyway, I am offering to do the upgrades for people. So here at the show, I have what's called a mini session, so 15-minute session. Most of my sessions are 50 minutes on the phone or on Zoom, but I'm just doing mini sessions. So originally when I put this plan together, it was just gonna be they pick a particular issue that you want healed, and we'll work on that. But now with this transmission thing, I'm supposed to working on people. I'm offering that too instead of the healing. So that's one option. And then I have my other, what I call Heal Now sessions, is a single session on the phone, giving a 25% discount on that. And then Life Transformation Sessions is a series of a session a week for a month. And that's also at 25% off. So you're welcome to come to the booth that we have out there and sign up for that. So anyway, so with that, I was gonna do a demo of some of the healing. One of the things I discovered in doing the upgrade is that the person's heart has to be completely open. So I was asking through Amiri, like, okay, well, can I just upgrade the whole planet at once? Yeah, but you have to have their permission, right? You can upgrade anybody, but their human self has to say yes. Because often what I'll do is when I'm doing healing, I'll create a sacred circle, I'll invite the person into the circle, even though they're not there physically. I'll ask their higher self if I have permission to do the healing, and I'll do the healing that way, and it works. And they said, this is different. So the human has to say yes. So I can do large groups of people, I just can't, it's free will. And so the other thing I discovered is that their heart has to be completely open to receive it. And so I worked on people that are know me, were working with me for a long time and very open to what I do and really excited to receive it. Did the download, and I'm like, okay, let's check and see if it worked. And then it didn't work. I'm like, what's wrong? And so they said, well, their heart wasn't open enough, even though they thought it was open. So I'd have to go and energetically open their heart for them, and then do the download, and then it worked. And it's just really been fun to see the results. I mean, like one person was struggling with weight stuff, and although I was coaching them into, you've got to look at many things. You've got to heal the emotional side. You've got to heal, what you're eating. You've got to exercise regularly. You got to do all of these things that help with that. So it's not just a healing and then you're gonna lose 50 pounds, whatever. But the energy helps, right? And so I did the upgrade, and she became motivated to do all those things. And then she started doing all those things that that normally she was like, oh, I have to go for a walk. Oh, I have to. She was just excited to do it. It's like, wow. So they said what happens is it's a shift in consciousness and the DNA. And so you're going from this lower place to, in fifth dimension is expanded consciousness, it's unity consciousness, it's living without the ego. It's just living in a happier place, happy for no reason, right? And so from that place, then when I do the healing on top of that, it's so much easier for them to accept it. So when you're trying to heal from 3D, although I've been successful in bringing them there, bringing them up higher and higher, this just makes it so much easier when you've got a new base for them. So that's kind of what my understanding of the upgrade does. So what I was going to offer to do today is just help do some healing on opening the heart, healing whatever's preventing you from giving and receiving unconditional love, any associations with love that you've made that just aren't the highest truth. So, oftentimes we say, in order to feel love, this has to happen, or this person has to do it this way. So we've created all these conditions around love. And love is one of the most important things to be able to receive healing, to give healing, to be happy. And so I thought it was a really good place to start with people, is to do that, so that you can live with an open heart. Oftentimes we have so many fears and fear of being hurt that we create a wall around the heart. And so we don't allow that love in, or we're not worthy of being loved or deserving to be loved, and all of these things. So there's so many limitations that we have that we keep ourselves small. So if you can remove that and you allow yourself to give and receive it, that changes a lot too. So I thought that would be a really valuable thing. So are you guys interested in that? Okay. And then if we have time, I can also have a volunteer come up here, and as I mentioned before, somebody that has something physical so that we'll be able to measure it in a short amount of time. So think about that. And it's helpful too if it's somebody that's already pretty intuitive, that has, can see visually or hear messages so that they can share what they're experiencing. Okay, so what time do we have this?
11:40.
All right, so, I guess I'm gonna 10 minutes. All right, I'll do it quickly. All right, so, everybody just kind of get comfortable in your chairs. And then just close your eyes. And put your attention on your heart. And ask to be guided into your sacred heart. Your sacred heart is right near your physical heart. You should just be very peaceful in there. Imagine your consciousness around you and expand it out bigger than the universe so you're connected to all that is. Go up above your head and connect with the divine love and source energy, and invite that energy to come back down to the top of your head and into your heart. Then go down through your feet, down to the center of the earth, and connect with the healing energy of the earth. And invite that healing energy to come back up through your feet and into your heart. And then see it as a constant flow of the divine love source energy coming from above into your heart, and the healing energy coming from the earth into your heart. Allow that combined energy to expand out to fill every fiber of your being. And then allow it to expand out even further to fill your entire consciousness. This is the state that you want to be in when you want to create change instantly. You're in your heart where you have access to the highest truth and your intuition is open. You're connected to all that is. You're connected to heaven and earth, all centered in your heart. If you find yourself going into your head, just say, what does my heart say? Your head is a great computer, great at analyze things, figuring things out. It's also where your ego lives, and so you don't necessarily get the highest truth there. Your heart knows everything. So when you do this kind of work, you want to stay in your heart. Okay. Now to yourself, you're just going to ask your heart that knows everything to bring into consciousness all the things that are preventing you from being able to give and receive unconditional love. So any associations with love that are not of the highest truth, we're bringing that into. Anything about love, not being worthy of being loved, not being lovable, anything that's affecting you that will be in your highest and best good to change regarding love, bringing that in now. So just by inviting it in, some of you will know what it is, some of you will just feel like an energy thing. If there's a lot of things, it's probably just kind of energy coming in. So we're bringing what's unconscious into consciousness. Once it's in consciousness, then we can heal it. So just energetically, I'm helping you invite that in. So from any past lives, anything that's affecting you with regard to love. Okay, once we have in consciousness, you're holding the intention of allowing it to be healed and transformed in the highest and best way. Your intention is everything. And then I can help transform it for you. So we transform it into what's for your highest and best good. Okay? So we're transforming it now. So you're just surrendering it to be transformed and allowing it to be transformed. I'm just witnessing it. Sometimes we get it in one pass and sometimes there's some layers. So you're going to ask your heart to bring into consciousness any elements remaining with regard to love that will be in your highest and best good to change now. Inviting that in. and then allowing it to be transformed, surrendering it to be transformed. And you're just witnessing it. Some people may see it being changed, some people will know it, some people feel it. Now you're going to ask your heart if it has a wall around it. If the answer is yes, you're going to ask your heart to bring into consciousness all the elements remaining that are contributing to that wall or preventing us from getting rid of it now. Okay, and then allow it to be transformed, all of those elements. Sometimes it's a fear of not being safe. And now to yourself, you're going to say it's commanded that the wall around my heart be removed now in the highest and best way. And then just watch as the wall is removed. Okay, now you're going to ask to receive unconditional love and light into every fiber of your being. And you're just going to allow yourself to completely receive it, no conditions attached. And then you're going to send unconditional love and light out from your heart, out to the universe, to be used wherever it's needed. Again, no conditions. And as you're watching yourself receive it and send it, you're just observing any blocks, anything preventing that flow from being really strong. And to yourself, you're just going to say, transform and heal. Remove those blocks until you can equally send and receive. Now we're just going to ask that all the changes that we've done today be integrated with God's perfection, love, and ease, and allow that integration to take place. And then you can open your eyes. Does anybody want to share what they experienced? Go ahead.
From previous sessions,
Go ahead.
I'm very visual, so I imagine when you're talking about the walls,
Yeah.
From previous visions, basically, my heart is represented as a field of roses, white, pink, and red. The red ones are full of love. The pink ones are in the middle, the white ones need to transform. And then I imagine this wall around this field of roses that will be destroyed. And then a lot of energy would come on this field and it would be very peaceful and pleasant.
Yeah, that's great. And could you see that changing then as you're going through that?
Yeah, I
process?
felt the heartbeat and I felt good energy coming.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some people see like these cement walls and brick walls, they see all kinds of things. It's and then we eventually get through them. We have to kind of keep working it and get it clear. But that is a big first step, is to have your heart open like that and then be able to give and receive that unconditional love. There's no conditions attached, and it just helps life flow so much better. So, what time do we have, Jess?
I think we have a question over there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's
So-
11:49 right now.
Okay. Alright, so probably not gonna have time for the other healing, but what was the question?
Is it-
I
Okay.
just wanted to do a share.
Sure.
I was feeling just this deep sense of sadness for some reason,
Yeah.
that I've been trying to get out, but I couldn't. But then when you said receive the love, like I was seeing it like go like this, like going out. So now I feel like more clear. And I was like, okay, it just happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, very.
Yeah. That's great, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't stop yawning. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
like,
It's a good thing.
oh,
Yes.
Yeah, yawning and deep breaths, I think, is when you're allowing. I also have to say that you mentioned that you were guided, that you didn't have to do anything, just be in the room to allow for the 5D. And the first thing that came to mind was the people that are here today are already 5D prospects, if you will.
Yeah.
So what that means is we have had glimpses of 5D in our lives. Maybe sometimes we're telepathic, maybe sometimes we see multiple dimensions, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're here with you,
Yeah.
chatting with us, it's already a validation that we have already experienced 5D. It's just a matter of
Being able to live in it.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, so it's actually a transmission that happens when I do it, so, it's kind of similar to when I heal a body part, like I'll have them imagine what that body part looks like now, what do you say, we're working on the liver, that's what it looks like, highlighting all the areas that need healing, and then what it would look like in its perfect health and functionality. And then I bring in the energy at the top of the head into that body part, and then have them watch with the third eye, the healing take place, and, usually within seconds it's healed. And they can then, I tell them when the two energies look the same. So it's similar, like with that, I take, the blueprint, and I bring it down to the top of the crown, and then bring it, fill in, and then the.
Trish, I gotta share too.
Sure.
I just felt a lot of heat, I actually still feel a lot of heat in my chest, I don't know
Mhm.
what's wrong.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, people feel like different things, like heat and cold and tingling and things coming in and out, and everybody experiences something different. And everything we're working on, you experience a different thing as well. But just kind of notice if you just feel more able to open that heart, you know, and just kind of choose to keep that open. And if you get hurt, so what? You know, just let it go. Don't put up those blocks that then prevent you from receiving and giving that love.
It's interesting, I've asked for healing in lots of areas of my life, and, but for some reason, love has always been blocked off, or it
Yeah.
wasn't for me, or not sure exactly.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt a shift,
Oh, good.
and, felt the walls coming down, and instead of being fearful, I'm now excited and open to what might be possible.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you have nothing to lose by keeping your heart open, and you have everything to gain. So, yeah. Yeah. And it's not just romantic love, it's just unconditional love, like
Yes.
love for humanity, love for everything,
Well, I
love
loved
for.
the bringing it in and also sending it back out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's important.
yeah,
It's
and it's
not
actually,
all me.
most healers are really good at sending it out, but they're not so good about taking it in. But it's really important to be able to do it equally in both directions.
Yes.
So this exercise gets you to be able to see like where the blocks are,
Mhm.
and then you get to choose to remove them. It's all your choice. But if you're not aware that they're there, then it's hard to know that anything's blocking.
And the multi-stages you did, like, are you still seeing blocks? Is it, do it again, do some more,
Yeah, yeah,
identify those, let it go.
Yep.
And handing it off to higher
yeah.
transmutation, right?
Yep. Yeah. So it is all free will. So you get to choose like, okay, I want this transformed now, and then I can help you energetically transform it. But you've got to give the permission to do that.
What a great gift.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have a booth out there, so if you guys want to stop by, I'm happy to help you in any way that you like. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this exciting time.
Thank you.